Right, I have let the sourdough ferment for about 3 to 7 days, which is what you're supposed to do. So I took a 1/4 cup of the fermented sourdough that had been fermenting for 12 to 24 hours, and I'm dissolving it in 1 2/3 cups of baby bottle warm water. Next, I'm going to put 4 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour in here and let the flour absorb the water and the sourdough. Once that happens, I'm going to cover it for 30 to 45 minutes. After that, I will fold it and be back to give you an update on what to do. This is an easy sourdough recipe from Pinterest. This is not my own recipe. Okay, I folded in the flour and added that in. Now it says to let it rest for 30 to 45 minutes. Once I do that, I'm going to knead the dough or fold it into itself by turning it every 1/4 of a turn and fold it into itself for about 15 seconds. So that'll be the next step. Okay, so I did a fold and stretch method, which is pulling the dough 4 inches. I can't do this with one hand, but you pull the dough 4 inches up and you fold it in. And you do that for 15 seconds. And I basically did that to create a ball. And then I'm going to put this back into the bowl and let it rest for 10 hours. And the next step is going to be tomorrow morning where I cook it. The dough is almost tripled in size. And this was about 10 hours of resting at room temperature. So now I'm going to pull the dough out and knead it and fold it underneath itself. I'm going to flip the dough over and put it into this bowl, which is lined with a linen towel, and let it sit. I believe it's called a Banneton, and it's a collapsible one that I found on Amazon. And this will sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then it will be ready to bake at 450 for about 30 to 45 minutes. So I look forward to seeing what it turns out like. This has been a process. Okay, this is the final product. This is the first time doing this, so I'm not as impressed with the height, but in reading the troubleshooting steps, it said that I over fermented the dough, so it was a lot more moist than it should have been, so it didn't rise as well in the last phase of the rising. So I have a few troubleshooting steps that I'm going to try next time, and perhaps less water, more flour, and not as long of the 8 to 10 hour ferment. It seemed that it was a little bit too long because the dough ended up very moist. So, but that's the final product. We'll see how it tastes.